I thought there would be some response because of the, as I say, the transgressive quality of seeing an Ivy League professor engaged in discussing something that has a certain illicit quality about it. But I had no idea that it would have the kind of success that it has experienced. I don't really understand it, but I'm not sorry.
Thanks very much for talking with us.
You're welcome.
Tuesday, Alan Dershowitz and Noam Chomsky debated how to end the Israeli-Palestinian conflict at Harvard University's Institute of Politics. This is an hour and a half.
Thanks, Tim, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to the John F. Kennedy Jr. Forum. One of the missions of this school is to train public leaders to think hard about critical issues of the day. Certainly this evening, we are going to be addressing, confronting, and thinking hard about some of those issues as they relate to Israel and Palestine. Tonight, our critical issue is, to bring it to point, is Israel and Palestine after disengagement? Where do we go from here? As we know, both parties, Israelis and Palestinians, are shortly headed toward elections. In January for the Palestinians, probably in late March for the Israelis. Since the disengagement in August, both sides are wrestling mightily with their internal constituents. Some on board for peace, some reluctant, some not so anxious at all to proceed with what is still an unknown and uncertain future. But there is a ray of hope. If you've read the papers in the past couple days, an Israeli-Palestinian peace soccer team, a joint team, has showed up in Spain. What's interesting about this is that beneath the rhetoric, beneath the politics, there is a level of humanity in both suffering and hope that these two peoples will soon join hands and produce a better and a different path. And tonight, I think we're here to discuss what that path might look like. What I want to do before introducing our two speakers is to make clear what our format is for this discussion. First, each speaker will make a 10-minute opening statement on the topic. Then, for approximately 45 minutes or so, I will moderate a question and answer session from you, the audience. We will conclude with 2-minute closing statements from each speaker. And while I encourage you to ask any question you deem appropriate to Professors Chomsky and Dershowitz, and I include in that tough questions, I also ask, for the sake of the audience, that you be brief and respect the right of each speaker to respond as well. Please remember that civility is the cornerstone of our democracy and certainly a hallmark here at the Forum. Born in Brooklyn, Professor Alan Dershowitz graduated from Brooklyn College and Yale Law School. At Yale, he graduated first in his class and served as editor-in-chief of the Yale Law Review. After clerking for Chief Judge David Breslin and Justice Arthur Goldberg, he was appointed to the Harvard Law faculty at age 25. There wasn't even time for you to join a mid-career program here at the school. And he became a full professor at 28, the youngest in the school's history. When not teaching students, he found time to be one of the country's most accomplished defense lawyers and authored over 20 books. His latest, A Case for Peace, How the Arab-Israeli Conflict Can Be Solved, has received favorable reviews from former President Bill Clinton and Middle East negotiator Dennis Ross. At Harvard Law School, where he is the Felix Frankfurter Professor of Law, Professor Dershowitz teaches courses in criminal law, constitutional litigation, civil liberties and violence, legal ethics, and human rights. Professor Noam Chomsky, son of a Hebrew scholar, Professor Chomsky was born in Philadelphia. While he acquired his PhD from the University of Pennsylvania in 1955, Much of his research leading to his degree was done here at Harvard between 1951 and 1955. In 1955, he joined MIT, and in 61 was appointed full professor in the Department of Modern Languages and Linguistics. From his articulate opposition to the Vietnam War in the mid-60s, to his book Manufacturing Consent in 1988, and to his even more challenging text, 9/11, published after the terrorist attack that year, Noam Chomsky has never retreated from taking on the most pressing issues of our day. Professor Chomsky is the Institute Professor of Linguistics at MIT and teaches classes in linguistic theory, syntax, semantics, and the philosophy of language. Before we begin, and to set the appropriate tone and context for this evening, I'd like us to have a brief look at a short clip from a forum event last year.
Hi, my name is Laura Daggy. I am a junior in the college, and I was wondering, as a leader who is internationally recognized in the struggle for peace, what advice do you have for the rising leaders of our generation?
First of all, don't be like us. Be different. You know, personally, I have very little patience for history. I believe that to imagine is more important than to remember.